Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Thomas. Today we're back here with PhantomStrider. Today we're here with the worst/weirdest Halloween candies. Yeah, these are pretty much the Halloween candies you get and be like, yeah, definitely not going to this house. Don't go in here. Candy's weird. So, yep. Let's just see what candies you gotta avoid. Be sure to like, subscribe for more. Hope you enjoy. Let's go.
Alright, switchboard's off. I'll just voltage test to be safe.
Oh, hi.
Howdy.
You wanna talk?
It is so good to be back. This video is dedicated to my Patreon bosses who decided the lights aren't going off on this channel. And they allowed me to keep doing the job I love, chatting with you here on this channel. Speaking of which,
sweet.
let's chat about Halloween treats. When
Oh, yeah.
it comes to Halloween
Worried about
candies,
the
we'll look at the
bad
weirdest
stuff,
of the
so-
weird and the worst of the worst. Would you try a wine-flavored Kit Kat? How about a potato-flavored Kit Kat? How
That's
about
Japan.
a soap-flavored gum? And if you think
Flavored
those
what?
are weird, you are not going to believe my
Oh, boy.
weirdest choice of all. These are the weirdest and
This
worst
that'd be good.
candies you might give or receive on this spooky evening. On a side note, I've tried to avoid just the plain
we go.
gross-out candies, as I
Yeah.
don't find them very interesting or pleasant to look at for that matter. Instead, I've focused on the more strange, creative, and unpredictable candies. With that
call it
said,
gum?
let's
Yeah, that's the
begin.
one. First up,
Let's start with the weird wine-flavored Kit Kat.
Yeah.
Oh, Japan. Normality is just not on your radar, is it? Is it appropriate to put these in a kid's Halloween sack? Well, there's no alcohol in them, so they should be fine. And Japan markets these Kit Kats specifically in the holiday season. Apparently, the Kit Kat's white chocolate coating tastes like bubbling white wine, with a hint of strawberry in the wafers. But how would someone describe the taste of this confusing white chocolate wafer? Well, Candy Addict tried them out and he was pleasantly surprised.
It didn't taste like wine to me. It has a
that's actually
super
sweet.
creamy, slightly strawberry-ish flavour, but a little too sweet.
Actually, Kit Kat's got so many weird
yeah, see, there's
flavors
a
they're
lot of them.
coming out their ears. They've got Tokyo banana
banana
flavor,
flavor, not kidding.
double matcha flavor, sugar butter tree, and what even is a heartful bear Kit Kat?
What is wrong with you people?
it's Japan. What do you
And for
expect?
our
Next,
worst, we have double bubble.
double
Imagine
bubble.
having a candy that was not only incredibly disappointing in
actually
taste,
remember this one.
but also gave you a disappointing, unfunny comic. It's like getting punched in the face, then the attacker tells you have a stupid haircut. Well, let's start by looking at this
Yeah, that does
taste.
sound about right.
Whoop, we found the problem.
Tootsie.
Double Bubble was made by Tootsie, the company responsible for Tootsie Rolls. And as many Halloween fans will attest, Tootsie Rolls are not known for their good flavor. And therein lies the main problem for many with
Yeah,
Double
Double
Bubble.
Bubble.
No flavor. According to the taste test of Brian Francis,
The flavour doesn't last. I timed my piece and the flavour faded at exactly 3 minutes and 31 seconds. I can
Yikes.
also report that if you go to bed with gum in your mouth, good luck getting it out of your hair in the morning.
so these comics, apparently they're a relic of the original 1928 Double
yeah.
Bubble, according to the website.
Be prepared to enjoy fun comics on every piece of gum.
I get the feeling the term fun
Yeah,
is going to be
no.
used very, very broadly here. Like the kind of comic that's only funny to people born before the year 1900. Oh, this poor dedicated fellow collected all 60 of these abysmal comics. Let's acknowledge that hard work and read a couple.
Did you forget to do your report? What are you gonna do?
Good morning, Mrs. Smith. No, not funny. What about
bribery.
this one?
Is that you, Pud?
Don't worry, I'm just playing a bad boy for the girls. I mean, were these comics
Really?
even funny 100 years ago?
Probably
Anyway,
not.
And for this weird choice, we have candy corn
corn
M&Ms. Can M&Ms make the most reviled candy taste at least mediocre and not like chewing stale cake batter?
Let me guess. No.
I don't know.
These M&Ms are made with white
like
chocolate
chocolate,
and
okay.
quote-unquote candy corn flavor. And I love how sure this description is of itself. They confidently state,
Everyone is sure to be delighted by this iconic Halloween M&M's flavour.
see, if I was a kid trick-or-treating and I saw candy corn, I'd ask for an apple instead. As for the taste,
Yeah,
well,
I'd
the
probably
channel
do that
Tammy
too.
Dunn tried these. I
love
remember them
this
also
place.
trying the McDonald's cake in an earlier vid I did. Let's see what they thought.
Huh?
Tastes like a white chocolate.
with that little bit of candy corn flavor.
Seems like they like them. I suspect this is partially because the M&M's candy corn flavor is more subtle rather than the fist-to-the-face sugar hit candy corn normally gives.
Fair.
And the mouthfeel is that of an M&M, which is much more pleasing than the waxy texture of a candy corn. So yes, our taste testers actually claimed something with the word candy corn in it was good. And then, of course, there was Nerds candy corn flavor. While we're on the subject, we have to find out the taste of these ones. Because the idea of Nerds and candy corn combined makes zero sense to me. Unlike the M&Ms, the Nerds seem to be the original candy corn shape. Apparently, it has a hard candy shell outside with a soft and chewy inside. All City Candy tried it out.
Like a very distinct flavor. It cuts through.
This young lady said the flavor was very strong and distinct. She didn't really taste the candy shell, but just the soft, chewy inside. Interestingly,
So
though,
is
she
the
didn't
inside
find this
of
candy corn
What's going
nerd
on there?
tasted anything like, candy corn. Which is a relief for people like me who don't like candy corn, but I imagine it's a bit of a bummer
Fair.
for actual candy corn fans. When Ozzy Megia
I'll be honest, I never actually had candy corn. Like, I always feel like those things were like chalk and like, eh. Plus, I always felt like they were gonna, like, bust a teeth in my mouth. You know? I don't know, it just always felt like those candies were about to break my teeth. I don't know why. I mean, it's weird, but what are you gonna do, right? Anyway.
tried them, he said up front.
This can't end well. I want to file this under the category of things that should not be.
The
Fair
soft,
enough.
chewy texture was mainly what stood out, as the candy corn flavor just wasn't distinct for him either. It seems in this case, you're better off sticking to the sweet, tangy flavor of regular Nerds.
Yeah.
And for our next worst,
Oh.
we have the Heath
Heath
Bar.
chocolate bar.
There's
Okay,
few
I've
better
seen
ways to disappoint a kid on Halloween than handing them a
actually Heath.
Heath Bar. Because with that Heath Bar comes a
English
Heathenistic
chocolate bar.
reputation.
Stop it.
Yeah,
This
get
candy
some out.
bar strays a little bit from your standard expectations, with the bar actually being made of toffee with a slight chocolate coating. But
I can
according
see
to
that being a
reviews
good
from
thing in England,
Candy
but
is Dandy,
here,
the chocolate
I
on
think
it
you can
doesn't
see where that
really
goes.
taste like anything, and it feels brittle, tasting more like cornflakes, and it has way more toffee than chocolate. Toffee was originally made around 1825, but it's more a relic of the times. It hasn't stood the test of time nearly
Yeah.
as well as chocolate has. There's occasional fans, but if you want to really get the kids smiling in delight, I'd say you're better off buying peanut M&Ms or Reese's peanut butter cups.
Yeah.
Americans really like their peanut butter and chocolate, though the Heath Bar may be an effective way to get the kids not to come to your house again. Our next weird choice
Next.
is the Potato Kit Kat.
A potato
Japan.
one?
Why
Hello,
would you make
Japan
a
again.
potato Kit Kat?
It's sweet potato Kit Kat.
Oh, because that makes it so much better, doesn't it? They're clearly made for the Halloween season too,
Yeah.
as the packet depicts a ghost flying through the air carrying a potato. And the ghost has horns and a cape, so yeah, it's Halloween. They even call it the Halloween break. And I'm sorry, but how does sweet potato have anything to do with Halloween?
Yeah, I mean-
Because in Japan, sweet potatoes are traditionally a fall food and often sold
Yeah,
at
true.
fall festivals. Sweet potato is kind of like the USA's pumpkin spice.
Oh, guess that makes
Or
sense.
you know.
Either way, we've got to know how these ones taste. Oh, come on. According to Amazon, they're close to a 5-star flavor. This I've gotta see.
They have a kind of buttery, nutty taste to them, like a roasted chestnut with a toasted
I mean,
marshmallow aftertaste.
Let's be real.
They're
If we
really
made it here,
nice.
no
It's
way it
not
would
even
work
the
out
first
well.
time Japan stuffed
Japan
potato
do have a
and
lot of
chocolate
form-
together.
like,
in
flavor in their
2016,
stuff
McDonald's
like this,
gave
you know?
Japan chocolate-covered fries. Oh, that we've got to talk about sometime.
Okay.
Our next worst
Like I
choice
said,
is
you
the
could think that-
Twizzlers.
Oh.
Now, Twizzlers have a tiny, tiny selection of fans. I think.
it's not
but
that
this isn't the
bad. I
type
mean,
of
I had 'em
candy you'll
before.
Buy.
You know?
It's the type of candy you get when you've not got quite enough arcade tickets for the chocolate. But it's not like you're ever coming back here, and damn it, you're redeeming those 30 tickets. Brian Francis had a very vivid description of the experience of eating one.
Twizzlers are like chewing strawberry-flavored extension cords.
And I have to agree.
Kinda
Not
accurate.
that I've
They are
ever
chewy.
chewed an extension cord, but you know what I mean. Something I remember strongly about Twizzlers is that horrible mouthfeel. How a food feels in your mouth is almost as important as the taste itself, and that wiry, rough Twizzler feel is just not a pleasant experience. But what about the taste? Well, I actually don't mind the taste, because I'm among the few who actually likes the taste of licorice. But in my community,
I mean,
Season Evergreen
it's not that
described
bad,
it the
I'll be
way that
honest.
I
I had
suspect
Twizzlers,
most people
but,
feel
no.
about it.
I don't like Twizzlers, mainly because they have the consistency of candle wax with a slight strawberry flavouring.
Our next weird choice is
pickled
pickle
cotton
cotton
candy?
candy. Yeah, I know you're not
What?
exactly going to give this one out on Halloween, but how could I just ignore this green-hued concoction?
Why?
Now, that is a dirty
I mean,
trick to
people
promise
like
a child
pickles, people like cotton candy, but
and make
there's
it
just
pickle
some foods
flavored.
that just don't go
According to the
together.
website
This
Fairy
one of
Tale
them.
Cotton Candy.
Woof.
As our number one bestseller, this treat is a pretty big deal.
It's the union of two flavors no one ever asked for. How do they put the amazing taste of pickle into something it clearly doesn't belong in? I don't know. But they define the taste as a tart, tangy, mouth-puckering feel, which
Trending on
honestly
TikTok?
sounds terrible. But for a while, the pickle cotton candy was really trending on TikTok. So I guess a lot of people saw it and bought it to try out for themselves. And I mean, I'm talking about it here on YouTube, so I guess I'm part of
It's
the problem.
doing something right.
And oh my goodness,
Wait,
there's
there's a
spicy
spicy one?
pickle cotton candy flavor too. Because pickle flavor was just too normal. Let's see what the reviews say.
It had just the right amount of spice.
Who wants spice in sugary fairy flavor? Let's see a slightly less
could be
biased
worse.
website for reviews. What about Reddit?
It's gross. It's like the tart vinegar flavour of dill pickle with the sweetness of cotton candy.
Finally,
I'm
someone else
more of a
thinks
bread and butter
green
kind of guy.
pickle fairy floss is gross.
Bread and butter
I thought
pickle
starting to
city
go
when I
mad.
s-
Our next worst choice is pumpkin pie M&Ms. I saw
Okay,
these
that's
and I had
another
to show you,
M&M.
because
Pumpkin
even
pie
on
this
the
time.
main M&M's website,
That
they can
makes sense, like
barely
pumpkin.
manage a 2-star rating. So clearly, they're not a favorite among trick-or-treaters. Let's read some of the reviews.
Pumpkin pie is one of my favourite tastes in the world. But the more I ate, the less they tasted like pumpkin. Where was the pumpkin flavour?
There's the pumpkin.
No, total disappointment. Crying face.
And that was a good review. That was 3 stars. What about the numerous 1-star reviews? What did they say?
Absolutely terrible. No taste.
Very to the
Oof.
point.
Fair enough.
For me.
Yeah,
My
that's definitely a nope for
favourite
me.
time of the year is when all the pumpkin flavours get brought out to the shelves. But to say I was disappointed
I don't want
with
that.
these is an understatement. The pumpkin spice just didn't hit like they should. Never again.
Oh, I love these
Yeah, you
reviews.
ain't
Just
wrong.
one more.
Gross. It has a weird, unpleasant taste.
Ugh.
I ate one and will
Never
never
again.
eat another again.
Okay, sorry, I had my fun. Let's move on.
Okay,
Our next
that's-
weird choice is definitely Thrill's soap.
Yeah, here we go.
Gum. Yeah, you heard me right. Soap flavored gum.
Why?
This one's mostly found in my other home country, Canada. Okay, first problem. This doesn't even look
No
like
one should
bubble
eat
gum.
soap.
It looks like a black currant flavored laxative pack. And I love how the packet advertises it still tastes like soap, as if that's something to be
Why?
immensely proud of. When I was a young fella, I once mistook soap for a candy. And I bit it. To say that soap tasted terrible would be an understatement, because I still distinctively remember that
it's soap
bitter
eating is
taste
supposed to be a
30 years later.
punishment, not
So
a
why
treat.
in Jeebus' name would anyone want a candy that tastes like soap? Well,
I'm
apparently
good, thank
a
you.
lot of people do. Because when I looked up the taste, a lot of
Ironically,
Canadian
love
Reddit
this?
users said they
Seriously?
love them. But how do they actually taste? Let's ask Pretzel. He sounds like a trustworthy
He
individual.
ironically
It's
loves
got a
it.
soapy taste, but it's slightly sweet. It's a bit like elderberry, with a perfumey or aromatic smell. Not unlike a freshly
Elderberries?
lathered bar of
Never
soap.
had that.
Yuck.
Yeah, I know. People have weird taste. Our
Yep.
next weird
Next.
choice is Bean Boozled. The
Oh.
Bean Boozled catchphrases
Okay,
are
who hasn't
"Dare
heard of
to
this one?"
compare" and "Are you brave,
Brave
enough?
enough.
Because this is a treat that the Jelly Belly Wiki labels a Russian roulette type of jelly bean packet. Because
Pretty
Bean
much.
Boozled comes
Half
with
them
a
good,
spin
half them
wheel
bad.
to
Good
decide
luck,
what
and hope
color
you land on a
sample.
good one.
The same color could be a great tasting flavor
marble,
or a
blueberry,
abysmal
or-
gack-inducing flavor.
Ugh.
For example, the peach flavor is the same color as the barf flavor. goody. So what are some
Yeah,
of these
that's
oh so
kind of the
appetizing
thing. You gotta hope
flavors
for
you
the
can
best.
stumble upon without warning?
There's toothpaste flavour, wet dog flavour, rotten egg, dead fish, dirty dishwater, skunk spray, mouldy cheese, stinky socks, lawn clippings, or pencil shavings.
I mean, when toothpaste and lawn clippings sound like the most delicious things on your menu, there's definitely a problem with your candy. Our next weird...
You know, funnily enough, I watched some like videos and people actually like the toothpaste flavoring. I'm not kidding. Like, I still remember some of those videos. Like, people like still do it for like a challenge, or I think they still do it nowadays. I don't remember who, but you get the idea, right? They spin the wheel, hope for the best, and just pray they get a good flavor. Or if you land on the blue one, you're pretty much getting a good one either way if you like the toothpaste flavor. But, I mean, like I said, love what you love, and who hasn't done any of these? Let me know. Anyway. Next.
choice is meatball.
Oh yeah,
Well, I bet you couldn't have predicted this as the next candy I'd mention, because who in their right mind would put these two foods together? Now obviously, this gum will not leave your breath minty fresh. Maybe it'll leave it meaty fresh?
Get some help.
Though I don't know if you should show up to your job interview smelling like meat. Unfortunately,
meatballs.
according to Candy
Yeah,
Hero,
I'm good.
the candy has been discontinued.
Yeah,
Tragic, I know.
makes
I can't
sense.
even fully tell what they
'Cause,
are.
yeah, I don't know.
Are they meatballs flavored like bubblegum, or are they bubblegum flavored meatballs? Either combination sounds appalling. Also, they're meant to be Italian flavor, but we can see on the packet they're made in China for a Seattle company. But I mean, that's not a huge surprise, because
Yeah,
what Italian meatball manufacturer would possibly be insane enough to de-sanctify their country's local cuisine like this? As for the taste, according to Lucky Penny, the texture is quite hard like gum. There's a sugary flavor to them and it chews like regular bubblegum. It seems it mostly just looks like a meatball. But braver than me for trying them at all, good
I'm
sir.
good.
And
Thanks.
while we're on the subject of Oreo, let's talk about
the
the
Sour Patch
Kid Oreos. These combinations, man. Oreo was up all night drinking coffee again, weren't they? I was originally going to put this intensely outrageous flavor mashup in the worst category, as according to Last Commander on my Discord.
This is easily the worst dessert I've ever had. These Oreos tasted like bad orange juice. I couldn't even finish the one cookie, it was that bad.
When I looked around on the
Finish one
web, I
cookie.
actually found a lot of fans of this flavor, like on
acidic,
Reddit. The channel The Endorsement also taste tested this one, in his car, of course, and I couldn't help but notice he started coughing up a lung after trying them.
I rise to the top. I never eat a pig.
Then he
that's
started
bad.
freestyle rapping about the cream and the...
The cream is where it's at. The cream of the crop. You try to play me out like as if my name was Sega, but I ain't going.
Honestly, this silliness is part of what I love about these car taste tests. They're so unabashedly their own authentic personalities without restraints, you know? It reminds me more of 2010 YouTube, when profiteering wasn't such an issue on the website. Anyway, I personally couldn't quite understand what he was saying in his freestyle taste test, so I checked Tammy and Kevin's taste test.
Oh, hi, guys.
again, because they seem to have tried every food on the planet. When they opened the Sour Patch Oreos, Tammy loved the smell and Kevin says he liked the taste, saying it has little sugar crystals through it, and it reminded him of Sour Patch
Fair
Kids, which is always a good thing. And Reddit was full of fans of this bizarre
I guess if you like
combination.
Sour Patch, you might
I
like
would
them,
describe
but
them as
again,
fruity and
to each
sweet,
your own.
but a little tart. Not sour, but like how some fruit pies are tart. It
Fruit pie
tasted
tart.
like
Oh,
a push pop. It's like they added
Push pop, I
Sour
remember those.
Patch flavour to the cream for golden Oreos.
Well, they're all yours, Reddit. On the occasions
fair
I
enough,
enjoy
you
an
do you.
Oreo, I'll stick
haven't
with
really
original
touched them
flavor.
yet.
Next to three worst choices that are notorious dishonorable mentions.
Oh boy.
These three I've already discussed in most hated
Yeah.
candy, so I
Or
left
more
them off the
junk food in
list.
this case.
But they're at least worth briefly mentioning for their notoriety.
What do you got?
Let's start with
Okay,
the Tootsie,
Tootsie
Roll.
Roll. You heard
On
that one
Halloween,
already.
few people like these dumped in their sack or bucket. It honestly makes me wonder, with how fondly remembered Tootsie Pops are, how can you replace one word and it suddenly becomes such a reviled candy? It looks like chocolate, and it seems to want
it
to
is kind of
be
weird that the
chocolate,
Tootsie
yet
Pops
it is most
loved, while the
certainly
Tootsie
not
Roll is
chocolate.
pretty
It's more
hated.
like brown flavored. The texture's more
Yeah,
of a hard caramel taffy. I noticed on Reddit a lot of people reported liking the fruit flavor Tootsie Roll. But the original?
Never had
this
it.
is how they put it.
I would never buy Tootsie Rolls in a store, but I like one at my insurance agent's office. Or my 81-year-old mum's hearing aid store. New batteries
hearing
in
aid
a
store?
Tootsie Roll, please.
So basically, people don't want to buy them, but they like them if absolutely nothing else is available.
Fair enough.
That's not the best praise I've heard for candy. Then, of course, there's circus peanuts. There's not much variation. Opinions are mostly pretty
They're not actually
consistent
peanuts, by the
about
way.
circus
I think it's more
peanuts.
styrofoam.
They're far worse than a regular peanut, so I'll take a regular peanut any day. And neither human nor elephant is likely to touch them without a 10-foot pole. Some people even consider them
I
the
wouldn't touch
worst
them with a 39.5
readily
foot
available candy in the United States.
Circus peanuts. The most disgusting of all the candies.
While a rare
I
few
think
people
even
on
the,
Reddit actually like
Reddit
them.
and LinkedIn like
Well,
those more.
15 people do anyway. But if you're a foreigner to the USA like me, or you've just never dared to try one, you might be wondering how they taste. I'm wondering if they have the texture of peanuts or not. Nope, no
think
such
not.
luck. According to Sport, they have that classic artificial banana taste, but somehow
banana?
they're even more sweet. And when you bite into one, they have a billowy marshmallow consistency. I like how Google described them as foamy bananas.
one
But
grew
I think
another
comparing them to the
orangey
most
foamy.
popular
What?
food at Walmart is doing bananas a severe disservice. In my community, Lila
got
had a
nothing.
similar reaction to them.
There's something about their foam consistency that I don't like it, but my boomer parents won't hesitate to eat them.
The website Eater backed this up by saying they're more popular with the older generations, back when
That's
they were
because they
popular
grew up
in
with
the
it.
days of penny candies. So that might explain better why you can still find them on Halloween. They're a bit of a nostalgia trip for the older generation that grew up with them.
And I get that. I still think the 1987 Ninja Turtles song is like the best song ever.
And
still
thirdly,
good.
of course, candy corn. Some people describe
Yeah, we
candy
know where this
corn
goes.
as sweet cake batter, with notes of vanilla, marshmallow, and honey. But it has an overpowering
to each their
sweetness that's like a punch to the face for many people. Plus then there's that waxy, crumbly texture.
Yeah.
Not many people are fans of that. Personally, I can't stand foods with a waxy texture. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm looking at it and be like,
Romeo described this succinctly on Reddit.
It tastes like solidified waxy corn syrup with a burning sweetness and a honey aftertaste. If you try them, I recommend buying the smallest possible package.
Food flavor specialist Mary
I'm
Wright
good.
explained why these Halloween candies are so polarizing on the Today Show.
I think most households throw away more candy corn than they consume, but it's a very emotional candy, since it often
Emotional?
evokes strong memories of autumn and Halloween. The taste of candy corn is an important iconic memory of many people's childhoods.
Definitely one of those cases where I say, if others enjoy it, let them enjoy some good memories and nostalgia.
Yeah,
and
I think
finally,
just
let's
each
check
their
out
own,
the
you know?
weirdest of the
Alright,
weird,
here we go.
the
Last one.
hematogan candy. Oh, you want weird? I'll
Hematogan?
give you
What?
weird. This Russian chocolate bar has a special ingredient to help people with
Hemoglobin?
iron deficiency. Can you guess? That's right, cow blood. Now I know what you're thinking.
Yuck! That
Cow
sounds
blood
terrible.
chocolate?
I think I'll pass on that.
Well, hear me out.
Yeah, that's a
Many
pass.
people enjoy steak and sausages a whole lot, and they have cow blood in them. I personally have kangaroo mince
Yeah,
and
but that's
kangaroo
supposed to be because they're
sausages in my dinner
grilled.
all
What?
the time, and that has roux blood in it. And these foods are all really good for improving your iron intake. And part of this is because they contain animal blood, which contains iron. And according to studies from the American Society of Hematology, over a quarter of humans have iron deficiency. And as I'm one of those people with an iron deficiency and I take iron supplements, this hematogan chocolate seems like a convenient, fun, tasty way to increase your iron intake.
Is it that good,
Yes,
though?
I personally don't want one, but reviews on Amazon indicate some very satisfied customers. According to Mary,
They taste like fudgy chocolate bars. You'd never
Really?
know they were a supplement.
and S.E. Mayer brought up a really good point which I hadn't
Really?
even considered.
Many women become anemic a few days each month. Iron supplements upset my stomach. But these are so good. It's a great boost of iron without the gastric upset.
I suppose chocolate already contains cow milk, so why not also cow meat?
Because I don't normally mush together my chocolate and steak.
Well, either way, how
Chocolate
did this
steak?
cow meat
I
chocolate
feel like
even
someone's
come
gonna
about?
try that someday.
Well, in Russia, Maria says her mum would often bring back these chocolate blood bars back from the pharmacy. Her mum would call them a wholesome and healthy treat. And given how prevalent
Chocolate?
iron deficiency is among kids, there's some truth to that. In fact, the World Health Organization found that anemia affects nearly 40% of young children. So it's basically the old-timey Soviet equivalent to those Vita gummies you find at the store. The channel Emmy made try these out for herself. She pointed out that this blood iron is more readily absorbed to the body than iron supplements. And when she tried it, she couldn't smell any blood. It smelled sweet. And it braked very similarly to regular chocolate. When she tasted it, she found it had a slightly dry, gritty texture, but it was very sweet like fudge.
I'm really surprised by how sweet that is, and I could see how that would appeal to children.
She certainly didn't report on a taste of blood.
So,
and before
sounds
you ask
gross,
how she knows
but
what blood
actually
tastes
tastes fine.
like, have you ever bitten your tongue? Then you know what blood tastes like. But she did find there was a slightly metallic aftertaste. So this Halloween, if you're going to give out Togen bars, you may actually be doing a public service by giving children a treat that increases their iron intake. And judging by the reviews, they're in for a sweet fudgy treat. And let me know if you've got any weird or terrible Halloween candies that I missed. Or maybe you have your own take on this bizarre trick-or-treat fodder. On a side note, it is a relief and privilege to be back thanks to my Patreon bosses. And now, I'm safely able to do the job I love again. I can't tell you after 10 years how much of a weight and fear has been taken out of my shoulders on here. And I'll always be grateful to my new bosses for that. Thank you so much. And thanks for watching, and whether I see you next time or not, I will most certainly be back. Count on it. As well as an extra thanks to my bosses, you see.
Man, you gotta admit, it must be pretty nice to think like, oh god, I'm gonna be gone. But nope. I guess this community would be like, oh hell no, we're not losing you. So, Strider, welcome back, buddy. And glad to see you sticking around. Feels good, you know? Anyway, honestly, that hemoglobin bar, hematodin, I guess they called it, I'll have to try that sometime. I don't know. It just seems interesting. Not in the, sounds good, but, I mean, it sounds weird, but it might taste good, but who knows. Let me know if you actually tried the bars or any of the candy here. Till next time, see ya!